Hi everyone, this is the run through of the August numbers for real estate. Continues to be an inventory story, nothing has changed. So this hasn't changed, we're still going down, getting closer and closer to a 1-to-1 ratio, and I think you'll see that this tells a lot of the story. So I'm following this weekly economic index. We had a 27% increase in the economy and the GDP July to August, which is great. I just want to point out that at the depths of the recession of 2009, 2010, we were at a negative 3.93. So we're almost back to what was considered an awful number. U6 unemployment, which is pretty much everyone who is unemployed or underemployed. We peaked at 22.8 in in April. And we're at 16.5% in July, and that's from about 7% in January pre-COVID. Unemployment continues to be awful. Not much more to say about that. Mortgages in forbearance are ticking down. We were 836 in May, and now here we are late August at 72. Mortgage delinquencies are quarterly information that was up 386 over Q1 and 8.22% overall, and not 100% correlation here with the Black Knights information, but that delinquency is at 6.91, which is a giant change year over year. A lot of these foreclosure moratoriums are really skewing all these numbers. It's not really that informative. But properties past due are way up. 90 days way up. And it's just another way of looking at it. Everything's spiking, except foreclosures. Mortgage rates continue to go down, 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 and since the 80s, way down, down, down. So longer trend down, everything's going down. All right, new construction. So we had mortgage applications. We're way up a couple months in a row now. So that is solid. New construction, single-family houses sold, again, is up. You want to keep seeing these numbers increase. 10-year chart is still within the channel. We're starting to peak at the top of the channel. Will we poke out of it and keep going up, or will it just sort of roll over, come down, and then come back up, and just sort of go zigzag higher? And that's what we've seen for the past 10 years, is it just ping-pongs back and forth within the same channel. And we'll see if that continues. Are we going to get a spike? Is it just going to go flat? You don't know. New construction stats, everything is going back up from the April low. And that April low is right here on the long chart. And spiking back up. And this is housing starts year over year. 2020 red, 2019 is blue. Everything looks, we're getting back to pre-pandemic levels of building. And prices continue to go higher. Last year we were 308. This year we're at 330,600, and that's 7.25%, which is on top of 5.5, which is on top of 1.6. And at this point we've outpaced this negative, and we're back positive. New construction median months on market, we had ranged 3 to 3.6 in 2019. For April, we're 3.3, May 3.6, June 4.2, July 4.1. We're sort of leveling off here. We'll see what happens, but we're still really good compared to the last recession, where things just went haywire. But that was a housing recession, so it's a little different this time. All right, existing housing. Mortgage applications continue to be very strong. This heavy blue line is 2020, and then all these other years are stacked on this chart. There's a big gap. We did have a big gap down, and now we're making up for it. We'll see if we ever exhaust the pent-up supply of buyers with this dip. At some point, we expect this to become more normal. Existing home sales are up 8.5%. So prices continue to rise as you see all these applications. And transactions are finally up for a month. We'll see if that can hold or if we're just going to go flat or go back negative. Existing home sales, new listings, down every month. We are getting less negative, but not positive. So that is going to challenge prices and transactions. Median days on market are exactly the same as we were last year. Existing supply of homes, month supply is down 0.25%. So basically what these two charts tell you is that everything's fine. If it's for sale, someone's buying it. All right, and what about the beautiful Bay State? All right, so last month we had an increase of 391% in our non-farm earnings, which is good. Still down from the peak of February or March at still down 9%, give or take. You can see these red sectors again if you've been following this series. These are the COVID-sensitive areas of the economy. And in aggregate, we're up 9.5%, call it. If you want to throw in construction, I would argue that that is also COVID sensitive. If you throw that in the mix with the red, it's 7.85%. Unemployment claims are leveling off, ticked up maybe slightly, but I'm not going to be too worried about that. Just don't want to see it start to spike again and start going up. I have a feeling that once the nice weather comes to a close and people stop, wanting to be out, we're going to start seeing some of these red numbers, especially for hospitality and food and all of this, start to go back down, which means that unemployment claims will probably start to go back up. And continuous unemployment peaked at 16.8 in June, and now we're at 11.71, which is great. I'm glad that everyone's getting their jobs back, and hopefully that continues. New construction permits for Massachusetts. This is really the only Massachusetts new construction graph that is publicly available, not hidden behind some sort of paywall. So we've seen some increases in May, a big increase in June, another nice increase in July, and we'll see if that trend can continue to satisfy all the demand that's out there. All right, and then we have my normal charts and graphs. These realtor ones are listed only on the MLS transactions, and the Warren Group takes into account all the transactions registered with the state. So prices are doing perfect, exactly what we think they're going to do, up almost 8% for July. That should read 2019, not 2020. And the 12-month moving average is plus 579. So this keeps getting slightly bigger. And median price, again, this is the same story, just different picture. So we've had a strong run since 2019 of price increases, some big, some smaller, but nonetheless it's a price change. And the 12-month percent price change is coming right back up. Closed sales, this is the actual number of homes that changed hands, was up 5% over last year's this time, and that is a Nice change from what is essentially a string of 4 out of 5 months being negative, and if you count March, being barely positive. And this is again the same information, just a different picture. So here's the negatives. This is the tiny 0.03% positive. And then here's your 5% positive. 12-month moving average. We continue to stay down. And you see it here. Okay, so Warren Group, this is all the transactions. We're up 8.25% versus, what did I say, 7.98% or something like that for the listed properties. So that's pretty closely tracking it. And again, the closed sales, 5.5%. Again, closely tracking the MLS. Okay, so new listings is what we need in order to get prices to moderate and to satisfy the demand without getting into all these price wars and pushing everything up. We had some negative listings for COVID, and now it looks like people are finally hopefully starting to get more comfortable and start listing their house in July. You wonder how long this is going to last. Is it just a weather thing, or is there something else happening? 12-month average for new listings down 13%, and you see this here, it's starting to level off. Hopefully that stays level, if not goes up. And here's your inventory. It's all bad, and this is the story of why prices continue to go higher, because there's less and less homes for sale. And again, same picture, same info, different picture. We're really getting to an extreme here for July. Hopefully this gets less negative as we go on in month supply. 6 months is neutral, so anything over 6 months, it would be a buyer's market, and under 6 months is a seller's market. So at 1.7 months, we are firmly in a seller's market. And this is how long it takes to get your house from listed to off the market. We are at 51 days, which is up slightly from July 2019. You look at the long chart here in the red. It's staying more or less flat. It does have some small gyrations. All right, now condos I don't normally follow, but I did see some interesting price action. You see the two reds in negative for May and June. And hopefully we've popped out of that for July, and that is here to stay. And we'll see in the next chart that we've been here before with a couple of negatives in 2019, and that we popped out of it. And so I'm going to speculate and say we're going to see that again, but there's absolutely no guarantees that that happens. Massachusetts closed sales at 2202, and this is, we're back at housing, not condos. And we had this big negative for a couple, 3 months. And you see it right here on the chart. Now we're going back up. Closed sales. This is again the same information, just a different picture. If that helps you at all. Pending home sales look good. We're up 30%. Pending home sales price up 8.5%. So when we get the August month-over-month numbers, we could see some big jumps here. And this is the case Schiller. It goes back to June. It's just a very slow index. And it shows, looks like a little bit of deceleration, actually. And you see that here. Where am I in the red? It's leveling off, if not slightly down. And this is the long picture in the red. We're pacing the national ever since the recovery of 2010. And that's all you have. If you have any questions or you have comments or things that you want me to do or change or what I could add to make this better and more useful for everyone, I would be happy to welcome your comments and your suggestions. If not, thank you very much. Have a great day.